Hey, what's up? It's your boy Cipha Sounds, one half of the Juan Ep is Life podcast. I'm the Juan part. I did an interview recently with the Prime Minister Pete Nice from the legendary group Third Base. I don't know if you guys know this, but Prime Minister Pete Nice is the one who first signed MF Doom when he was in that group. What's that group from Long Island? Peach Fuzz, KMD. He has all these unheard MF Doom stories and all this information that no one's ever heard. I got it. I'm not a big MF Doom fan like that, but you know what I mean? I got some scoop. So I was working on this TV show with Prime Minister Pete Nice, and while we were on break, I decided to go do a secret interview with him outside. Now, we were in a random Union City, New Jersey, and there was some random Union City, New Jersey shit happening in the background. But when Emilio, the new producer of Juan Ep, got a hold of it, he edited it all out of the audio version. I said, don't do that. Don't do that. MF Doom is weird. This interview is weird. Let it all be weird. You know what I mean? So here is the unedited director's cut, never heard before, fire video version. You're welcome. Subscribe to Juan Ep, like, share, review, put stars, tell everyone. I'll see you there, okay? Or just see me there. Bye. Enjoy the video. Prime Minister Pete Nice, KMD, MF Doom. Bye. YouTube or audio or video, whatever. Just fucking love it. Yo, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. I say good morning. You say good afternoon. Okay. Good morning.
Good afternoon.
Good evening and
good night.
He's got it. This is Prime Minister Pete Nice from the legendary group Third Base. You know, we love to have old motherfuckers on the show. You know
and
what I'm
I'm
saying?
Old. I'm very
old.
old.
Like 93?
94. I go back to when the light bulb was just being developed.
You knew how to
Yeah.
Nah,
I got Cool Herc for all his like fog machines, for all of his
fog machines.
For Sedgwick, yeah. I was at the Sedgwick party too. Yeah. I was like a little B-boy. I was the only white kid there.
Wait, you were really there? You were really
No,
there.
Everybody says they were there.
Everybody was there.
Yeah, everybody was there. I was 2 years old. I was 6 actually when that went down.
This guy, me and Pete Nice are working on this TV show called Hip Hop Treasures. And it's because you're part of the Universal Hip Hop Museum.
I'm like the co-curator of the museum, and Paradise from the X-Clan, he's the head curator. We've been working on it for like 10 years, the project.
That's crazy.
Paradise brought me on like maybe 8 years ago. So
why would he bring you on? Oh, sorry. We're literally outside in the streets of New Jersey, so you're going to hear some wild sounds.
Exactly. So back in the day, when I started rhyming, I was in a group in my high school called Sin Qua Non. And one of my boys, Kiwi, his father was friends with Sonny Carson, the activist.
Yeah.
And he was like, yo, your son has a group. They should get with my son because he's into hip hop. So Lumumba Carson became my manager.
Right.
And Lumumba became Professor X at X-Clan.
Yeah.
And he was partners with Paradise right when Paradise started with the Latin Quarter.
Right.
So that's how me and Paradise met. Oh, he was part of
Latin Quarter?
Yeah. So they were partners in a thing called Scratch Me Productions.
Right, Productions.
So it was kind of like unofficial, but they would, manage everybody from Just Ice. Like when he started managing me, it was Just Ice, King Son, Positive K, and even like Stetsasonic before Stetsasonic went on Rush.
Right.
And even I think he did a little bit with like Audio 2.
Right.
So that was like back Brooklyn days, Latin Quarter days. So that's how we've been tight for them. But we didn't like reconnect for many years. And we were both kind of like just like pack rats.
Right.
We kept, flyers.
Yeah.
Like we're like,
obviously,
you go to a party, you roll it up and put it in your back pocket, and then we were the guys who kept it.
Yeah, because like
records too.
Working on this show, we have to go find these hip hop artifacts from different people, whether it be the artists themselves or like somebody associated with the items. And a lot of people don't keep their shit. Right.
People lose their shit. Like, one of the funniest stories was, I went to Schenectady that show like Nice and Smooth Rakim and G-Rap. And so I'm with Smooth B and I'm talking to him about the museum. And he's like, oh shit, Pete, man, I lost this storage unit where they had all their Nice and Smooth shit. All his gold records, they used to tape on VHS everything. Now some of that stuff is probably good that you can't find it now but like there was like, so one of his boys called him up one day. He's like, "Yo, B, I'm over by in Hollis by Farmers Boulevard, and there's a little flea market, and I see your gold record for Dwick, and I see all sorts of videotapes. So the dude buys the gold record for like $100.
Wow.
And like gives it back to him. And he's happy
Yeah.
about that. And they're like, but Smooth's like, yo.
Hi. We're just shooting content.
Oh, I didn't realize.
No, by all means.
No, let me go around.
White privilege. White privilege. Nah, she's cool. You're cool. I'm just fucking with you.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry.
Don't worry. So, where was I at? What the fuck was I
I'll
saying?
tell you where you're at. You're in Union City, New Jersey, where people just roll by playing South American Spanish music.
Exactly. Well, this is nothing like the Bronx. Believe me. If some rats come by, we know we're in the Bronx.
So yeah, okay, go ahead. So Smooth B.
All right. So Smooth B tells his boy, like, listen, but what about those video cassettes, the videotapes? Like, that's our shit. He goes, I had hundreds of everything in the studio, on the road.
Damn.
So they go back the next weekend. The guy didn't show up, nothing there. And so if you find some like VHS somewhere with some crazy
Wow.
Greg Nice footage or Smooth or
Man, the guy should've
Slick
just bought
Nick,
it.
yeah, they're out there somewhere. But at least he got his record back.
Yeah.
I actually got my house robbed years ago, some like meth ring in my neighborhood or whatever,
Shit.
and they stole all my original gold records and all of my canes. So I only have like one
Pete Nice
original, maybe two original canes that I had.
Wow.
And I had another cane that, like, so you did this Biggie segment.
Yeah.
Can we talk about this? Because you could put this out
it's
later.
one
So
app. Nobody's listening.
on the Biggie segment that you go out to CJ's crib,
Yeah.
he's got the cane with the sword in it
Right.
that Biggie was killed with. Okay, so
Right.
first of all,
Wait, no.
he
Biggie had it
when he was killed.
Yeah.
Yes, he didn't impale himself with that. He was shot. So, but when I saw that segment on the dailies, whatever, I was like, oh shit, because we were in New Orleans at like BRE convention. I went into an antique store, bought this antique cane
Yeah.
with like a gold, like 14 karat gold top,
Yeah.
and like this long
the
sword.
sword,
The shit
yeah.
was like 200 years old. I think I
Wow.
paid like $2,500 for it.
What?
Yeah. So I had this shit for a while. It was like my special cane. So I think we were doing like Rap City with the mayor, and we were late, so we had to take the Trump shuttle from LaGuardia. And like usually, if I knew I had the sword cane, I would check it.
Right.
And this is pre 9/11 everything, so everything
Yeah.
was loose.
It's
But like
loose.
I went through, ding ding ding, all the security shit goes off, and one of my mother's friends was like one of the ladies working for Trump. She's like, "Oh, Peter," and I'm like, "Oh, Mrs. Rogowski," and next thing you know, I'm in cuffs, and they're hauling my ass away. I was in a cell. They took out my shoelaces,
Yeah.
and next thing you know, it's on like MTV News. Is like, Pete Nice gets arrested on a weapons
So
charge.
weapons
So,
charge, yeah, right.
but the funny shit was, so you told me that on the segment, CJ says that he got the cane how? By the evidence room.
Yeah, they had it, and the guy, one of the detectives at the LAPD, said he found it in the evidence room that was sitting there since the night Biggie was killed.
Exactly,
And he
which
gave it
is
back to him, which is like 20
which
years
is
later.
crazy. So they
Yeah,
had
it's crazy.
they had my whole shit on MTV News. It's like they got a mugshot, everything. So
That's crazy.
so we had this lawyer. We got a new lawyer, and then the lawyer was the New Kids on the Block lawyer. So the New Kids on the Block lawyer was nice with some criminal shit, and he got me off with like a desk appearance ticket. So I got off, but they sent me back to, I think it was like Forest Hills, to the evidence room.
Yeah.
I go to get my cane. Shit disappeared.
Gone,
Someone
right?
stole that evidence. So that's why I was
Yeah.
like, how could Biggie's cane, like probably something that's probably worth, I'd say if that was like in an auction, I think that shit would be worth like $500,000. Like what the Crown.
Crown, yeah.
It would go for something close to that. So
I don't know. The crown is more iconic from that picture.
it
though.
is, but when you look at something that of a murder of that magnitude and that was with him,
With it,
and
yeah.
it's,
Like if you look at the picture
can't-
from that night,
yeah.
he had the cane.
And it just shows you that Biggie shit will sell
Right.
for that. He could command that number, so you don't know. Like there's some other things we have on the show that I would even put more than that.
Yeah,
so,
there's a lot. We got a lot of dope shit in here.
yeah.
But okay, so all that we could talk about this forever, and the show's gonna come out top of next year, so you'll
Right.
see it. But let's talk Doom.
Okay.
Let's talk KMD. You know this?
Yes, I know that well. I
You know
approve
this?
that cover and that cover too.
I got a Doom
Now,
shirt
did
on.
Doom sign that?
No, this is WBAU. I stole it
Oh, you stole it from
college
BAU.
radio.
Wow.
But I got my Doom shirt on. Now
That's
here's
right.
the thing. I'm not a huge Doom fan. I'm not one of those Doom fanatics.
Right.
But I feel sad that on this Jacob. Go ahead, Jacob. Go ahead. I'm sad that I'm getting more
Well,
into
you're younger, so even like in 93, 94, how old were you? You weren't working at
18.
You were in a Hot 97, right?
No,
You were still at BAU. Yeah.
I got out of high school in 94.
Yeah, okay. So
But Peach Fuzz was my shit.
right, okay.
But I got more into Doom lately after he passed away and hearing all the stories. Like Mos Def told me some crazy Doom stories. Kweli,
Right.
Chappelle told me one. So like, I'm getting more into Doom because like Mos Def was saying one of his favorite lines was the guy, I forget what it is. The guy's in court and he's snitching on himself. You know that song?
Right, oh yeah. Doom has all sorts of crazy scenarios.
Rap
Yeah,
and he's like, who's the main witness? It's me.
Yeah, right. Like, but that's the thing. Like Doom, like from when he was young in KMD, he was still like that, but it was just
Right.
like in a different, like
Okay, so-
plane. Like he just, as he developed, he just got more bizarre, and I was like, I had kind of like got out of just the business, so to speak. But then that's when Doom started releasing on. I think it was the jam, Vats of Urine. Like he had a shit called Vats of Urine.
Yeah.
So I was like, and that was my shit for like months. I would just like play like Vats of Urine.
Yeah,
So that's how I kind of got back into Doom.
Right.
Because Doom, I know Doom since he's almost a little kid.
Yeah.
Like me and Serge had met Doom first through our two dancers, Ahmed Notice, Long Beach,
Yeah.
Get Yours, Posse, LB. And there was a place, the MLK Center out there, and like original that's like it's like a BAU spot, MLK Center. Like they would have talent shows and stuff. So I think that's where Doom ran into Serge. But he was like a little kid, you know, and like our dancers were more like closer. They were younger, but they were closer to our age and they were more mature, you know.
But your dancers were from their neighborhood.
Yeah, bred on the block, Hudson. So
it's Zev Love X,
Sub Rock, was Dingalee's Way, Raheem. We would call him Doom and Heem. Like if you were back then, you would just call them Doom and Heem.
That was like, so when you on the tour on the road, you didn't call him Zev Love X.
No, I never called him Zev. It was always Doom with him. From the earliest time, it was Doom because his name was Doomale. Their last name was Doomale.
Oh, that's right.
So it was just, it wasn't like, it wasn't the Doom character.
Right,
it was just
Doom.
that developed from
and then
that.
the other Sub Rock is
Raheem, or his full name, Dingalee's Doomale.
That's not
So like
that's
I
not a
have,
real name.
we signed Doom to like his first contract, like as his manager. And like I still have the contract, and it's like you see, Doom would almost sign like a chicken scratch, and sometimes he would just sign an X and circle the X.
Right.
But Heem would have Dingalee's like it's such a
it's a
long
crazy
first
name.
name, and it's like a
and who's
distinctive
Onyx?
handwriting. And all right, so Onyx, they first had a guy called J1, who was down with them. That's when I heard like the demo that Doom had given to Serge and me, and we were like, yo, we definitely want to fuck with them. But it wasn't even like fucking with them. We would always go to Long Beach, hang out.
What is this? I'm shooting here. Fucking helicopter.
They're looking for Henry Hill.
Get the fuck out of here, man.
They're trying to stop our drug deal.
Sorry.
So at the
We're in the
time,
streets.
I had an Olds 88, like that was like from like 78 or something.
Yeah.
And Serge had a blue Granada that didn't have a radio in it. We called it the Think Tank. So we used to like freestyle in the car with Dante Ross. So we would either ride one of those cars out to Long Beach and just hang with those guys. And it just got to be where Doom and Sub Rock would just go everywhere that we went. We would take them places with us. We'd take them to radio stations, and that's before we were doing the gas fest. This is when we're like in the studio making the album. So we would go to Green Street with the Bomb Squad, and we got Doom and Sub Rock like in with Eric Sadler, Vietnam.
So they were like your little homies.
Little homies, but like they were absorbing everything. Like
Right.
Doom was in the studio Green Street with the Bomb Squad,
Right.
checking out the
17
equipment.
or whatever.
16, 17.
Yeah.
Like this is like 88. 88, early 89.
That's crazy.
And like, you know, but then we would go out to a club after that, you know,
Right.
like whether it be Mars or
Right.
Nels or, you know, the World, whatever. So
That's crazy.
that's like that was his world. But they also they were in school and they were in Long Beach, and they got to meet a lot of people.
Right.
And, you know, basically then you had the gas phase. So we were heading out. Prince Paul sent us a couple of cassettes with loops on it, and obviously all he had was like the oh shit,
Right.
and the beat, and then he would float in the Aretha Franklin, you know, piano line. So we're like, oh, that's the shit right there. And then Brooklyn Queens was a song that I had done years before.
That's my favorite bass song.
Years before I met Serge. Right now, obviously I did it solo. Then I did it with my boy Vanilla B. We were in this group called the Servant Generals, and then it went to me and Serge when we were third base. So, but when we were going out, we were going to Island Media, out in EPMD land with Prince Paul. So I think it was Center Reach or something like that. And we literally had that tape. We had played it for Doom, and at the time, that whole crew from Long Beach was just they'd say, "Oh, you gassing me? You giving me the gas face?" And me and Serge thought that shit was hilarious, and we were like, Doom, why don't we we're going to do a shit called a gas phase, and we'll put you down, and you get the verse. So we literally wrote our verses on the Long Island Railroad heading out to Island Media.
That's crazy.
And the funny shit is I had just...
shit.
Yeah.
I saw a car just hit.
I thought it was a body of someone jumping.
He was pulling out of a parking spot and smashed into the car behind him. And now... don't look at him, but he's definitely hit and running. He's definitely.
We're catching a hit and run on tape. And the plate number
we'll
is, the woman, she's picking her nose.
And the plate is
M32NNS, New Jersey plate. Snitches, get stitches.
Yeah, she definitely just smashed a Honda Civic.
Oh boy. I hope it's not a crew member.
Oh shit! Yo, she didn't even get out. She casually drove off.
She's thinking like, should I go back? Look at that police sign that's like right next to the stop sign. That's like she's looking at that sign.
She's looking for cameras. Oh shit! Okay, sorry.
All right, so we go into the studio, and I just remember Doom would always roll around with like one of the Marble like composition books.
Right.
Like he would, that was his rhyme book. He had several of them, and I had a rhyme book that I kept pretty, you know, it was like my shit, like my main rhyme book after earlier ones I had. And Serge really didn't have a main rhyme book. He would just have sheets of paper. So it just to show the hip hop hoarder aspect, like, and you know, we're not even known at this point. And like we did our verses. I had my sheet of paper. Serge was writing his shit out on like little pieces of paper that were like on well, I guess maybe it was like from Def Jam or something, like little pad, like when we left. And all his shit's written out there. And then Doom on the back, Don Newkirk, the singer down with Prince Paul, he was just happened to be there, and we were like, oh shit, you could introduce us. So Doom wrote on the back of one of Serge's lyric sheets the lineup, like he said, the sinister Prime Minister Pete Nice, and MC Serge, and everybody's a love act, like you know.
And he wrote that
KMD's
for Don Newkirk to say.
Yeah, so like say this is how we want to be
producer
introduced.
Just went by. That's the money right there. You saw that? That's the money.
So still have actually at the Universal Hip Hop Museum pop-up exhibit that we have right now for the golden era, 86 to 90. I have like that sheet written out by
Really?
Doom in the on display.
Fuck.
And my rhyme book, we had these. If you look on
Don't touch my vinyl.
this KMD suitcase,
Yeah.
they had like this little theme where they
You
were like,
have this?
now they were almost like I would love to have it for the museum, but they had this Little Rascals type thing going where they had like the Runaways from home. So I had the little Sambo, but they had like this Rush mailing sticker on there. So I had a Rush mailing sticker on the top of my rhyme book, and Doom hit up the front of my rhyme book with like the Sambo character. So
Really?
that my rhyme book's on display with Doom's, artwork on there. So
That's crazy.
so but basically the gas phase put Doom as 16-year-old, 17-year-old kid like onto like major national stage. We would take him to every radio station, and then next thing you know, we're going on like Arsenio. So like we take Doom along to perform
Only
on
Doom's
Arsenio.
on it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Sub couldn't come; he was in school, whatever. I think it was. I don't know. No, I think we.
No, I was saying only Doom's on Gas Face.
Yes, only Doom's on Gas
Right.
Face. I mean, at this time, Sub wasn't even really rhyming. He was just, doing production and beats and stuff. And you had Ahmed Notice at Dancers, Daddy Rich, who was Richie Rich at that point, and Doom. So get flown out to LA. We're staying in the Mondrian, and like Doom's getting room service and everything. He's never experienced this type of shit before. And then we're like, oh shit, yo, let's go to Beverly Hills, and like we gotta get some gear. So we get to Rodeo Drive, and like from New York, you just run across the street. Next thing, a cop is stopping us for like jaywalking. And so like we're like, what the fuck? So we get to the other side of the street, and so it's Serge, me, Doom, Rich, Dan, Ahmed Notice, and I think we might even had our girlfriends on the trip with us possibly, and we look all the way down the block, and I'm like, yo, Serge, that isn't Whoopi Goldberg walking towards us right now, and I'm like, and Doom is like, Doom is like,
this 90.
This is like 89,
and we're like, Whoopi Goldberg is fire.
89. So we're like, this is like probably like Ghost era of Whoopi Goldberg.
Yeah, that's big Whoopi Goldberg.
So we're like, nah, man, that's fucking Whoopi Goldberg. She's walking right towards us. So Search, of course, whenever we had some shit like that, like I think that same trip, another trip we got out of like the Chateau Marmont or whatever the hell that hotel is, and Jane Fonda's like waiting there with like this old like you know those station wagons with like the wood paneling on the side, and Serge is like, yo, what up, Jane? Like, and like she's looking at us like, and he's like, yo, we said like, yo, keep it tight, like something like that, like she's like looking. So the same type of shit with Whoopi. All of a sudden, when we know it's Whoopi, Serge is like, Whoopi, and like Doom and Sub Rock start moving forward, and like she sees this happening, like this whole group of like black dudes and like the two white dudes and the white guy with the fucking flat top, and yo, Whoopi Goldberg ran across the other side of the street, jaywalked, and just ran right across the other side of the street to get away from us. We didn't even get close to getting up to her. So yeah, so that is my Doom Rodeo Drive Whoopi Goldberg story. But the funniest story with Doom is if you see the video for Peach Fuzz. Yeah. So Doom and Sub Rock used to actually be Ansar, and they used to actually have the robe, and they would sell the oils and things for Dr. York. Right. And they would actually do that on the street. So in the video, the Vig Kid, Lionel Martin, we're recreating that setup, but it's on Barrow Street in the Village.
Wait, they would do that like certain days, like that's like a part-time job.
Yeah, I mean, you would have to devote a certain amount of time to doing that.
To go sell oils and books
I mean, they were even living later on in a Dr. York community upstate New York. Right. So I mean, they were.
Yeah, Dr. York is a.
Yeah, that's a whole nother story because I used to have to pay Dr. York for studio time and stuff like that. So I have other stories. So we'll save that
because the guy. Okay, real quick, let me sidebar. When I used to DJ, I don't know if you guys know this. I used to DJ for Little Kim. So there was who ran Biggie's partner Undias, and then Entertainment. And then under him was a guy named Jacob York.
Yeah, that's Dr.
Jay-
York. Yeah.
So Jacob York was like, I guess he was Kim's manager, or he had something to, there's about to be another car accident. So he was something to do with Kim, whatever. He was like
Right.
second under on. He hit him. He fucking hit him.
We got two. We got two. It crunched the plate a little bit.
I mean, it's like one of those white vans, like a pedophile van, but it's not all the way pedophile because it has windows. But there's no rear backup camera on that. He's smashing into a.
I got to give him for getting into that space. That's a tight space.
No, he has a lot of room. He just doesn't know how to drive. You got it. So Jacob York was one of the York's kids.
Right.
But that's the Jacob. Okay, yeah. That's the Jacob in 10 Crack Commandments when Biggie says something with my man Jacob could hook a steak up.
Right. So they had that whole history. So in the video, we were recreating them selling oils with the girls walking up, and then I give a cameo and walk up. But that was on Barrow Street in the Village. So at the time, I lived on 130 Barrow, and then at 90 Barrow right up, Russell and J Master J lived in that building. And then Ad Rock used to live, his mother, I think, on the corner right across from where we would set up the table.
Yeah.
Like he lived there. Maybe he wasn't living right there, but my boy MC Disagree from the Cactus Album, the guy who's like, yo, I can't find my ride. He's like So that MC Disagree's crib was right there where we set up the tables. So that whole area was Greenwich Village, you know.
Yeah.
So you have gay bars, straight bars, and stuff. So one day, Doom and Sub were coming to see me in my crib, but I wasn't home yet. So I'm like, yo, you guys just chill on, you know, Greenwich Avenue or whatever. So when they come back to see me, they're like, yo, Pete, man, we went into this bar. So what they did was they went into a place, I think that was called like the Cubby Hole, a lesbian bar. And they went and like sat down there. And I think they had the robes on too. And they were like, yo, Pete, there was like all like girls coming in and there was no guys. And then there were some girls kissing each other. So they had no comprehension of there being something like a lesbian bar, you know? Yeah. So that shit was, you know, that was the type of thing with like Doom, like, you know, just these weird occurrences in the city. And then, you know, it had like I had some crazy Albanian friends from the Bronx, and then they hooked up with Doom. You know,
you don't have to say
crazy.
You don't have to say crazy Albanian. You just say Albanian.
Exactly.
You're putting too many words. You know,
right.
You're a rhymesmith, so you gotta be economical with your words. When you say Albanian, we know.
It's enough.
We know.
And I'm like an honorary Albanian. You know?
Me too. I used to be for a while.
I almost owned my own pizza shop.
Was it so? Wait, you didn't finish telling me about, so who was Onyx?
All right, so Onyx, so J1 came on.
Yeah.
He was down, and I don't know if it was creative differences, whatever, but Doom like wanted to move in another direction, or maybe J1 was doing something else. And Onyx was also in the neighborhood and was rhyming, so Doom put Onyx down. And Onyx, so from that point, he was MC, and all three of them, very close, always. I mean, I think even sometimes Sub Rock, like if there was some problems at home, whatever, he would chill and stay at Onyx's crib. So like they had that whole like group vibe where it was KMD and Onyx, the Birthstone Kid but Doom was really always kind of like the mastermind behind the whole image. But as things developed, Sub Rock came into his own as well. He started to MC. You know, he was really nice on the production. Then we had them produce the song Ace in the Hole for our second album. And you know, those guys lived in the studio, so when they started working, they would work at Calliope Studios, but then we also, Dante Ross comes into it, because when we signed Doom to our Riff Productions, we obviously thought that, I mean, Doom is on Gas Phase, Def Jam could be a possibility, but like early on, even before we could kick it to Def Jam, Dante really wanted KMD, and he had just gotten
Elektra.
He had just gotten his, start at Elektra as A&R.
So Dante Ross, real quick, if you don't know, he had he was always involved in hip hop. Then he was at Tommy Boy.
Well, no, Dante started out of Rush.
Rush, yeah.
I got on Rush because of Dante. I gave
It was Tommy
Dante
Boy
my
after?
demo in like Central Park, and then he went to Tommy Boy after Rush.
After Rush, he went to Tommy Boy, and
Then he went to Elektra.
and Elektra is where he signed Brand Nubian,
Leaders,
Rock and Seal Smooth,
Leaders,
Leaders of New School, KMD.
and
So
but you can't forget about his first signing, Shazzy, with Gigaho. So I always
I
get
try,
on.
I try to
'cause
forget about
Shazzy's Gigaho is not as big a hit as Brand Nubian One for All or, you know, Reminisce Over You. But there was his first. And, you know, Shazzy was, I mean, at the time, I love Shazzy. But like, she just didn't blow up. So,
Right.
but that's, Dante, like, we knew him from Rush. And actually, he actually helped. I met Search at the Latin Quarter through mutual friend Vanilla B, Lord Scotch, who had gone to high school with Search and actually was rhyming way before Search and me. And like we were kind of like rivals, like, and it was like, oh, that kid Search, like, you know, like. But then when we started hanging out with Dante,
rival?
yeah, there was always that white boy, you know,
Yeah.
like every white boy has a chip on his shoulder.
Every white
I'm the
boy in
flyest
hip
white
hop
boy.
wants to be
The only one,
white
the
boy.
only one, and it's
Yeah.
like Sasha Jenkins we were talking about. It's like that's just a thing.
Yeah.
So, but when we were hanging out with Dante, who's a third one, who's not even an MC, who has that same thing going on.
Right.
Like, oh, I'm the only one who knew NWA
Right.
existed before everybody else, that type of thing. We start hanging out with him, going to the world and all these places, you know, where freestyling Searches think tank with no radio. And we hit it off. And, you know, most people don't realize we were together as a group called Three the Hard Way for almost 2 years before we signed to Def Jam. Like me and Search used to take $50, $25 to introduce acts at like Hotel Amazon, The Jungle, at Irving Plaza. I remember we introduced Rob Bass for like $25 a piece at Irving Plaza, you know. So we would go anywhere and do anything.
Yeah, any
you know,
kind of hosting.
Yeah,
anything,
anywhere we could get some light, we would be there. You know, even the first actually time that me and Serge went on the road as artists without having a record out was some guy gave us a show in Davenport, Iowa with King Son. So us and King Son and his crew shared a van, like that van, smaller than that van across the street, driving from like, I don't know, they flew us to Chicago or somewhere. We had to take this long ass, and I remember it was like the 40s out there were like Mickey's, I think it was. And like, I just remember just being 40'd up the whole ride with King Son. And like, we knew Son anyway. But
wait, Mickey's.
Yeah,
that
Mickey's.
Was a beer?
Yeah, it was like a 40.
Oh,
40
you know
brand.
what's so funny? There's an alcoholic line that I never knew what he meant. He goes, yo, we used to get the Mickey's, hide them in our Dickies.
Yes. I think
and I never knew what that meant. I thought he was talking about a gun.
Yeah, I think I have a picture of like Son or one of his boys holding up a Mickey.
Yo, you just, my mind was just like, oh, that line. That fucking.
Because it's a Midwest thing. I even think we were doing shows in Chicago, and I remember that as well.
Wait, hold on. I'll take it even deeper. I think it's the song from the Alcoholics' second album featuring the Loop Pack, who was produced by who's the guy? The producer.
Alcoholics?
No, the Loop Pack.
Oh, okay.
He's the big producer now. He did the Black Star album.
Oh, jeez.
Madlib.
Oh,
produced by
Madlib.
That song's produced by
Okay.
Madlib, which is related to Doom. It all circles back, baby. It's all a cipher.
It all makes sense.
Here comes an Ecuadorian family.
We're going to the beach. We have green buckets.
Yeah. No, it's okay. Come on through.
Patriots fans.
Are they Patriot fans?
Yeah, they're Patriots fans.
You thought I was lying that there was an Ecuadorian family coming through. They're like, why is Cipha being still? Oh, wow, there is an Ecuadorian family.
So then with Doom, the other thing about Doom is
you didn't finish your Iowa.
Oh, this just leads into like being on tour. So the way that we start going on tour with King Son, Doom starts going on the road with us, but on a much higher level. Like when we, I don't think, I'm not sure if Doom came with us to the first real tour. LL put us on the Nitro tour.
Yeah.
and we did the Omni in Atlanta and the Cap Center, which was like crazy. And actually, during that 2-show stretch, Kane and Slick Rick had beef because of who would go on first or before. They were trying to stagger it,
Right.
but I think Rick wasn't having it, and his mom was like on tour, like as his road manager.
Slick Rick's mom.
Yeah, and we were in an elevator, and we saw Slick Rick's mom pull out a pistol. Like, yeah, she was strapped, and like she's waving, and like Rick is like in there breaking us up and closing the elevator door, and there was like mad drama between those two. Now, I mean, because you see them in Teenage Love. Kane is in the video; they're cool. And then there was some point where there was just this beef on the road with Kane's boys and his. And then I guess everything blew over after that. But like that was real. Like, and we were like, oh shit, this is crazy. It was crazy enough seeing LL come out in the hot tub and everything. It was crazy because the thing is, because we were down with Rush so long, like Russell got both our tapes and we were signed as solo acts, and we were solo for a while until we joined together. But we'd be, like I said, we'd be everywhere, and Russell would always tell us, "Yo, I'm gonna put you guys on."
Hold on, there's some weird shit going on here. So here's the deal. The lady who does our catering is standing outside, and an older gentleman and a younger gentleman. What were they asking you?
If they told me that was a public toilet.
Right.
Because of noise, like for
They wanted to use our porta potties.
Yeah.
And she told him, "Get the fuck out of my face."
Some women, there was an old woman yesterday came by talking about like, is this a vaccination? Are you vaccinated? Like what the fuck?
I can see that. Because we got signs, little paper signs. Whatever. Okay, go ahead.
Exactly. So Russell used to tell us, I'm going to put you on the road.
I just wanted this to be a 1-minute video about Doom.
Yes, we're going way.
This guy can talk.
Sorry about that.
No, it's good. That's why I'm doing it on one app.
So
go ahead.
Russell would always tell us, I'm going to put you on the road with Run. And we're like, bet, or LL, whatever. Like, we want to go on tour. And we're like, yo, you put the Beastie Boys out. And like, people think like, oh, we were on Rush when the Beastie Boys were still on Rush and still on Def Jam. Right. We actually went to Leroy Cohen's wedding. Right. Actually, Serge didn't get to go because he had a job delivering chicken for Chicken Delight, and he couldn't get out of his shift. And he could not go to Dominican Republic with Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince, Public Enemy, Run DMC, Beastie Boys, LL Cool J, EPMD when they started, everybody. So
how do you not just quit that
I know. He missed out on such an opportunity. So
you need us, Aiden? No. Okay. Okay, yeah.
So like we were like involved in all this drama, and so Russell at one point we told Russell, like, you put the Beastie Boys out, they didn't have a record, like we want to go on tour. So I was at Columbia University in college, and I would like tell my counselor, like, I think I'm gonna have to drop out of school because I'm going on tour, Run DMC, but this shit would never happen. So at one point, Bill Stephanie, who was down with Public Enemy, he was like the VP of President Def Jam at the time. Sometimes him and Russell would have meetings with us, or Russell and Lior, telling us that we were going to be going on tour. And when it got to the point where we never believed them, me and Serge started taping all of our meetings surreptitiously.
Like the Richard Nixon.
Yeah, it was like the Richard Nixon tapes of hip hop. And
we were taping meetings with Russell.
Yes, and if you listen to, like, when we came up with the name Third Base, we have it on tape because
you are a snitch.
Yeah,
you're a snitch.
Yes, we were the original snitches, but we used it to our advantage. So we had Russell saying we would 3 the hard way, and then we couldn't use the name because of the movie.
Yeah.
So we were literally sitting with Russell and wrote out all these different names, and we're like, third this, third that, 3, and then we said like 3 hard dicks, and like Russell's laughing, but that was all like on tape. And then we say Third Base. He's like, oh shit, Third Base, I like that shit. and that's how Third Base, like literally we captured it on tape. But the other shit we captured was like Russell's calling up Paula Abdul for a date to like the American Music Awards, and she's on speakerphone, and Serge is like, yo, I need that Paula Abdul for like an hour. Please let me talk to her. And he's like, well what about your girl? He's like, what girl? And this is all on tape. And then Paula Abdul,
not out. We don't know that.
But then Paul Abdul then comes on and is like, hey, Russell. He's like, oh, what are you doing? Oh, I got my boy's third base over here. So the shit was hilarious.
Wow.
But then, right at the same time, Mike D, this is when the Beastie Boys had just left, and there was some sort of Melody Maker or some UK thing. There was an article where Mike D was saying that Russell Simmons was a thief. And then Russell Simmons was saying about Mike D something like, hey, if you're in a room with Mike D and you leave, better make sure you still have your fingers or something like that. Like they're each saying each other's a thief. And we're like, yo, Russell, what's this whole thing about Mike D saying you're a thief? Like, you just signed us. Are you going to rip us off too? Which he did. And it's Russell and his lawyer on tape convincing us that they're not thieves.
Yo, check. Okay, make sure this mic is
Yeah.
working.
So it's them convincing us that they're not thieves. And then he starts getting into the Beastie Boy breakup, and he's like, he's just looking at us, shaking his head. He's like, yo, Pete. He's like, yo, Thirst, yo, Pete. He's like, you don't understand how much that hurt. He goes, I dressed them. I put them out with Madonna when they didn't even have a record. And he's like, it hurts. And Serge goes, yo, Russell, it's like you dropped the soap in prison or whatever, the way you're in your feelings right now. And it was crazy. And like the fact that we actually had this shit on tape, and we didn't, at this point, we didn't even know it was still taping, you know? So it was just,
right.
the shit was just rolling on a little Walkman with the microphone. So
I don't know what it is about this area. It's noisy as fuck.
It's Jersey.
There's a
But
guy,
hey,
this happened yesterday when I was trying to shoot something outside. There's just these guys with orange shirts and garbage cans. Can you shoot? Guy? Yeah. Yeah.
Well,
Busted.
listen, at least it's not the Bronx, man, because I've spent so much.
Side bitch. Busted. Caught you with just. That's why he didn't want to walk in front of the camera. This has been a side check.
He's like, I'm gonna be on Cipha Sound's Instagram.
Listen. All day. They love this block. It's just a guy, orange shirt, orange garbage can.
Is that the community service when you're convicted? Is
Maybe
that what you got to do?
Service.
Oh, this is interrupting. We're going to need you in the wrap-up looks.
I'm in my wrap-up look. Almost.
Wrap-up.
Yeah, close.
I think I'm in wrap up.
Okay, perfect.
How long? Did they say?
You guys probably got another
We're almost done.
45 minutes or so.
Oh my God, 45 minutes. Jeez, we've been here since 9:30.
Right.
So
I mean, basically and you know, Doom was in the middle of all this. You know, like his adolescence was like, oh, I'm down with these,
Yeah, that's
and getting to the point when really we took Doom on his first tour, which was the Big Daddy Kane tour. It's a Big Daddy thing in 1990, and that was Tupac's first tour. So you have Tupac and Doom.
Wait, who's on that tour?
It was us, Digital Underground, Kane, Latifah, MC Light, and also like Two Live Crew. Like there was different dates. Like some groups would come in and out, but the main ones were Digital, Third Base.
That's the story
Big Daddy Kane.
of because Tretch used to
Right.
work
Well,
for Latifah.
Yes.
And that's how Tretch and Tupac got tight.
Yes.
On that tour.
But this was we went out with Kane in April, and then the summer tour was that Heavy D, PE, Digital Underground, Latifah, and everyone. That's the one with Kid and Play where you see the videos with them all bugging out shooting the water guns. Like we started the water gun shit on ours. Like actually, we would have water gun fights with Digital and Tupac, and there was one point we were at one spot and there was so much water on the floor that Kane's security dude Minister like just ate it and fell and like broke his ankle. And we have like Minister getting taken on a stretcher, getting taken down by water guns, you know, like it was like
wow. Now let me ask you this. This is controversial. Did you ever see Shock G and Humpty Hump at the same time? Because there's rumors that it's the same person.
It's not the same person, but I got fooled. Like, if you were just there and you didn't even know and you just knew, like, you're just meeting Shock G and the Humpty dance just came out. And then you're seeing, like, Shock, and then you're seeing, like, this other dude. I'm like, oh, that dude looks just like Shock, but Humpty's over here.
Wait,
So
hold on. I was joking.
no, this is real.
I'm joking. They were the same person. You're saying they weren't
No,
the same person?
like I think it was his brother or like yeah, they were.
I was joking.
No, they really had that going on. Yeah.
But he's shocked as Humpty in the video.
Yeah, they would kind of play it off. Like sometimes you wouldn't know.
Now, okay.
Like I even have some pictures where.
Wait a minute. Maybe that's where Doom got the shit with the mask when sometimes it wouldn't be him.
Oh, well, I think Doom was forced into that because Doom had these issues where he couldn't come into the United States. So now I will tell you that me and Daddy Rich had kept in touch, and I spoke to Rich, and he's like, oh shit, Doom, guess who contacted me out of nowhere? Doom. Yeah. He wants me to DJ for him on like this world tour. And Rich actually, like, he worked for like an air conditioner. He was an expert on air conditioners, had a good gig, and he like gave up the gig because he was going on this long tour, and I think they were going to pay him a big amount of money up front. And the tour had to get canceled because Doom had these immigration issues, and like Rich was pissed. Yeah, and like someone in Doom's office just called him up and said, "Oh, sorry, the tour's off, can't do it," and he just quit his job. So yeah, so he was not happy about that.
I've learned my lesson.
Yeah.
I don't quit the gig until like you got like tickets.
Yeah, or
like,
the money in your account.
Money,
Exactly. So like I don't think Doom was getting creative. I think it was like a circumstances forced him into doing that. But I got to give it to him. That is like one of the best, hustles in hip hop to have someone else showing up as you. But but like I mean, Doom put on a lot of weight at that point, so I guess it could be hard to tell. But I mean, if I knew it was Stan, I could tell that it was or wasn't Doom.
Right, you would know. Yeah. But I like how. See, this is what I love about hip hop, right? The thing with Doom, and this is all hearsay that I've heard other stories. I've never seen a Doom show. But I like the fact that it's, in one aspect, it's extremely artistic. And like, it's a mystery of like, is it really him? Is it a sub? Someone's got the mask on. And on the other side of it, which is also hip hop, is just some ghetto shit that I can't travel. And I still got to get that money.
Yeah, I still want to do it.
I love how hip hop like combines just some hood hustle shit.
Exactly.
With like, it could be conceived as artistic freedom. Right.
But the other shit that's crazy about that, so I got together years after with his boys Deke and Jay Quest the Boogeyman, and we were talking. They were like, yo, we went to see Doom at the Nokia Theater in the city, and they're like, we were right outside, and like Doom went right by us with the mask on. We're like, yo, Doom, like thinking like we're gonna go in with them. Man, he didn't even look at us. He just dissed us. And I was like, man, I can't see Doom dissing you guys like that. That's fucked up, man. I was like feeling like, yo, Doom's a fucking asshole. But you know what? I mean, if you check that show, was that actually Doom? Like, it might not have been. It might not have been him.
Or what if the fact that it was him, but he was pretending that it
wasn't him? Exactly. Like, so it's like it's a riddle.
What's that movie with the magicians? I think it's The Illusionists.
Yeah.
Where they're playing these characters, whatever. You know what I'm talking about, right? Fuck you.
Exactly.
So boom. So okay, did KMD have a DJ?
Sub Rock was the DJ.
Oh, Sub Rock was the DJ?
Yeah, Sub Rock was the DJ.
But he rapped too.
Yeah, but he didn't rap till the second album, maybe like a little bit. He really wasn't comfortable rhyming until more they got in the second. And we did a show. We took KMD, all three of them, on the road with us in St. Louis in like 1989 to do like, I don't know, Magic 105 Summer Jam Day in like a park with like 20,000 people. And that was like Doom signing like his first autographs and shit like that, because the Gas Face had just come out and like people but they actually made their T-shirts with like the Sambo characters, like with magic markers, like on just like a blank white Hanes T-shirt. And
wait, go back just real quick to the Ansar.
Okay, so and this is a tour story. So we're on the Big Daddy Kane tour, and it's around Ramadan, and these dudes that got the prayer rugs and everything on the tour bus, so they're like hardcore. They're not touching any alcohol or anything. And it was just, that time, like they were devout.
They had
and then
the
it came
robes
to a
on
point when
tour?
they were not devout.
Yeah.
No,
Okay, you can go.
they would
Oh.
they would not wear the robes like regularly on tour or anything like that.
There's a beautiful Asian woman jogging. You
I
think I'm
know.
paying attention to you right now?
She definitely had some ups
She
too.
was cute.
Yeah.
Sorry, not that I didn't. Did I have to say Asian woman? Because if she was anything else, I would have just said, why do
Woman,
Asian people
yeah.
why do we classify them so much when you see like that's, oh, she's Asian, like it's just a woman. I feel, I'm listening.
Archie Bunker would probably
learning.
throw out some other terms that were on TV. Like, imagine that shit was on TV.
Sorry, guys, Archie Bunker is a TV character from the 1970s.
Yeah.
From a show called All in the Family. What the fuck are you referencing, man? These are kids. Nah,
They gotta learn
they're old.
something,
I'm fucking
man.
with you. They're old. So, wait, so Ansar they're Muslim?
Yeah,
Like
well,
somehow connect, like
it's
they
connected.
follow,
They follow the Quran, and it's well, you were 5%, right?
yeah.
So
I never knew about them though. That's
right, but
you know, the first person who told me that was Bobbito. When Doom died, we interviewed you and we interviewed Bobbito.
right.
And Bobbito was like, no, they were Ansar with it. And because
Yeah.
I remember the Dr. York people, I didn't know they were called.
Yeah, well, Dr. York had his own philosophy, and like they were followers of him, you know.
Yeah,
so, but even like Bambaataa and Zulu Nation were down with them. I think Dr. York put out like that Jungle Brothers Bambaataa record
Really?
like in '88, '89.
Oh shit.
Yeah. So, but whenever you would see the red, black, and green logo, that you knew that was the Dr. York Ansar. But yeah, they were down heavily with that, and even in their family, and they, like I said, they even moved to like that community
Right.
to at the time that they were doing the Black Bastards album.
In upstate.
Yeah.
And then I know everyone knows this probably already, but that album never came out.
It never came out because Doom had done the artwork for the cover with the Hangman,
Right.
Sambo,
Right. Yeah.
on the news on the Hangman game with Black Bastards. And I was talking to Ice-T about it yesterday because he's on the show with us, and it was right when the whole Cop Killer thing happened. So you had this huge controversy with Cop
and
Killer.
then he was on Warner
and Elektra's under Warner. So
oh,
Bob
shit.
Krasnow, the president of Elektra, was getting all the shit from Sylvia Rome and all these people. And the person who fucked it up for us was the person who we were really close with, Havelock Nelson, who wrote for Billboard. He was the first one to write this article, like, oh, I've seen the advance on KMD, and it's this offensive, like he really should have already understood because he knew KMD. Like the Sambo character is an anti-racist. It's anti-Sambo, showing how crazy it is with the whole blackface era. And
so
they didn't even give Doom or us a chance. We even had Bill Adler like working on the side doing some PR, and they just totally dropped that shit after putting like a decent amount of money into the album.
So they couldn't do a new cover or.
No, it was there was not even a chance to do a new cover. It's like, we're dropping you.
Shit.
And then, so now I have I was the executive producer, so I have which I thought was a masterpiece album. I had that whole thing coming back to me. I have the sheet of paper where I called up everybody. Russell, Profile, Sleepy, every label passed on picking up that album at the time. And it just shows you how
hot.
It wasn't just, we couldn't even do a Sprite commercial at the time. Like we can't do that. We're going to look like sellouts or whatever. Like there were so many codes that you had to abide by at that time. Unlike today, like the artists have it so easy, you could do anything.
Yeah.
You could murder somebody and still, get an uptick.
You should have did the commercial.
Yes, yeah.
Your name's not on here though. Wait, this is from the second album, right?
Yeah, the second album. Well, this is just a single, so it doesn't have. Yeah, no, I'm the executive producer on all. Like I was there, man. Like, sir, they left. They had beef with Search, so basically I took over everything on KMD, and they were just fucking with me, and I was managing them, and then I was managing
executive
them
producer
with
Pete
Babito.
Nice.
There you go.
Found it.
There you go.
There it is.
Fine print. But yeah, so
super fine.
Search was out of the picture because Doom had beef with Search, and Babito continued. We had Hit You Off management together, and we were. So that's also how Doom got together with Bob later, because
right
there was and then There was listen.
Right. Wait,
The
did
Doom
Mom put out Doom like on
Fondle him. So but that was years later. Like Doom, like I know the Doom. Like it's like, yo, Pete, I gotta pay my Con Edison bill. They're turning off my shit. You know, like those Doom days. You know, and that's why like when he had money, I was laughing. I'm like, oh, I think Doom still owes me like 10, 20 grand or something like that. You know, so but Doom he definitely disappeared for a stretch, and that was after Sub Rock passed.
Right.
And then after the record got dropped. So he went through a lot of personal shit. And also Doom had a drinking problem too. So all of that didn't help. But in a way that all created the Doom character and the artistry. You know, that's why you got that t-shirt on there.
I bought this t-shirt just so I could talk to you.
Exactly.
I swear to God. I bought this shirt on some bullshit Instagram ad.
Yeah, but the other crazy
I was like,
shit,
I'm gonna wear this and interview Pete Nice on set.
There you go. And that mask, like my rhyme partner in my second group, Serving Generals, Lord Scotch, designed the mask for Doom.
Yeah.
So it's just this weird shit where like me and Serge brought Doom on, then Babito knew Doom from us managing him.
Right.
And then
it's all connected.
Doom hooked up back with him, but then Blake, Lord Scotch, resurfaced around that time and knew Bob. Bob put him together with Blake, and then next thing you know, the mask is developed.
I saw him on Instagram too. He was like a graffiti guy too.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
I saw him on Instagram, and he was like, hey, no one knows about this guy who was a graffiti legend and did this, and also designed the Doom mask. And he goes, it was me. and it was him. It was, it was a cool video. Like,
yeah.
I was like, I'm going to watch this. Like, I saved it because he's saying all this dope shit.
Yeah, so that's my boy Vanilla
to show
B.
you, if you want to make it in hip-hop, get down with some white people. That's the only way to make it. That is factual. 100%. Everything comes from third base. Thanks, Pete.
Yo, good looking, Cipha. Great working with you.